Austin, average?
So Austin isn't quite the cachet of what you buy, but it's close. It's close. And so the average amount I would probably say is about maybe 300 to 400K a month for Austin.
300 to 400,000 dollars.
Yeah. So this is a rich person's playground, this city. And meeting people who are you here for the one person? Yeah, come on in. Yeah. So I meet a lot of like very wealthy individuals, and they all can get to $1 million in the city, like no problem. But because we have such a high volume of like engineers, software developers, like tech people here, a lot of them have these side projects, and they go out and they're building things and just selling them right away. So if y'all know the resale market for companies, that's an even bigger business in itself. I can tell you, like, let's say you build a small piece of software. You don't necessarily need to get it to $1 million. You can just get it to like, hey, I have 200 people who are subscribers. I'm going to flip it for 100K, right? So you've already helped get it off the ground. Now somebody else will come around and just buy it off of you because everything's already established. So they're going to grow it themselves, and then they'll probably turn around and flip that again. So there's that whole business of flipping businesses. But yeah, it's pretty interesting the people I run into.
That's 300 to 400,000.
Yeah, 300 to 400,000 about a month.
A month?
A month.
So the average business person here, and very often is a side hustle.
So a lot of times it goes from side hustle to like main, like right away.
Okay.
Yeah, because like they learn how to scale, and that's the most important part. So once they learn like, hey, this is going to take over my life, I can finally like go to the 9 to 5. I can do this thing, and I can focus on this. And then they scale it, and then when they realize Austin is a gold mine of like secret parties and events, you go to those events and your life can change because those are the people that have the connections everyone else. So I'm going to be covering the most important thing y'all probably should be knowing, and that is South by Southwest. So if you have not already been like going through the list and signing up for all your RSVPs, you better get on that because you're going to be on the wait list.
Are you going to talk about what's relevant though for South by Southwest when it comes to like what categories? Because I'm not sure if my thing is even relevant. So how do you know if what you're?
So a lot of stuff, because this is Capital Factory, it focuses on tech. So for like interactive and tech for South by Southwest, I'm going to be covering a lot of events and parties and things like that. Unless like you absolutely need to go to the music stuff and you need to be like, I need to get in the backstage of these people. No, like we're going to cover mostly tech.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not really tech.
Yeah,
so if I leave early,
and then education.
We're in health and education.
And I trust me, it will still apply to you.
Oh,
Okay.
It will still apply, yes. So are y'all going to South by Southwest Education?
I wasn't planning on it, but if you could tell me that,
Tell me
why I could.
Okay. Sure, yeah. So education comes first, and then you have the tech portion that starts, and around like Friday to Saturday is when like film and music also kick off, and then you have the comedy portion that runs at night. So that's when all the comedians come in and they show off. The thing that I always tell people is like comedy, don't ever underestimate that audience, because that's a gold mine for building your company. And people always ignore that. They're just like, why do I want to go to a comedy show? That doesn't do that. I'm like, maybe because there's people there that want to know what you do, and they want to have a good time. Just saying, Alright. So, this is tonight's agenda. We're going to kind of go through what's going to be happening. We're going to do like a few exercises. That way you get into the mindset of how to scale and build something really fast. The last time we did this, there were some really amazing ideas that people came up with in the class that I was very impressed with. In fact, one of them was for Taylor Swift. And I will give you what the team came up with, and that was to track her jet and do a dropshipping clothing brand based on her location in the world. So that way, if you know where the GPS locator is, and you know she's headed to Minnesota, then the entire apparel store, by the time she lands, changes immediately to everything Minnesota style for Taylor Swift. So by the time she literally lands in the city, using AI tools, it just repopulates all this design clothing. And I was like, that is pretty genius. That's amazing. Yeah. But don't follow her jet because she will sue you. So. Yes. Yeah. So we're gonna go over mailing lists. I'm gonna cover why that's so important, how to get to 1,000 during South by, because your mailing list is your bread and butter for any company. And then we're gonna do another exercise, and then we're gonna cover like how to do South by Southwest for free, because I've been doing that for a very, very long time. And many people think like you absolutely need a badge to get the most out of it. I have never paid for a badge, and I have done a lot of stuff that's out there. So, any questions so far? So we're gonna do intros, just 30, 40 seconds. You're gonna name where you're from, what are you working on, and what are your current pain points that you're having right now for your business. So if you want, we can start with you.
Hi, my name is Hamida. I'm from New York, and I just decided to come to Texas because I've never been to Texas.
Enjoy the heat. I hope you enjoy the heat.
And then I was looking for, entrepreneurial things because I'm in finance, but I'm looking to do something different.
Yep.
And I don't know what yet.
Okay.
So I'm just keeping my options open.
Good. Absolutely. Yeah. Welcome.
I'm Kevin. Let's see. Here in Austin, and the project that I'm working on is basically a robo investor.
Okay.
So my current pain points are the SEC and trying to get that minimal viable product.
Yep.
Basically, I've been attending a lot of these types of events in order to do a little bit of networking, but then try to basically, where before it was kind of like the idea was a glass of water and I just poured it on the table. So now I just want a little structure.
So if you went to Black and Tech, there was a guy who spoke. He does algo pair, and he created an AI trading bot to help you manage your portfolio. So that's what he's working on. So if you're interested, I can connect you with that guy. Yeah. So right.
Hi, I'm Celine, and I work here in Austin.
Awesome.
And I started a swim lessons business over the past 2 summers, and so I've been like meeting more families, and like definitely I know how important their emails are. And,
Oh yeah.
numbers, because I get to text them too, so it's even better than email. And I like the idea of one-person businesses. Like I'd love to actually do like a YouTube channel for kids. So I have the content idea already. So I just wanted to be around other people, like
Absolutely.
interested in their one-person businesses.
Yes. Welcome.
Creative things.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah, my name is Michael Halliburton. I am working on transforming renters into investors. So the idea is about, rather than the tenant giving back money to the landlord, or if you, in the case of a mortgage, paying to the bank, the money they pay every month, will a percentage of that go back to them. And it builds, it grows forever. So my difficulty is getting investors involved so we can buy properties and things like that. So I've been working on that. I'm going to work with some people tomorrow about creating, I already have a website, creating opportunities for realtors to advertise on my website. I have 20,000 properties on my phone right now. That's $1 million right there. I'm looking at it. I could get into it.
Hey, welcome. Run in. Yes. Awesome.
So that's where I am.
So are you familiar with this? There's a woman who founders real estate education company in East Austin. And they bought this little house, and they hold these classes for people to come in and learn how to invest in real estate.
Right.
And their idea is that they go out and find the houses for these people, and then they show them how to structure the deal. So they'll like guide them through the whole process and everything like that.
Right.
So they don't want to call themselves a real estate agency, but they basically help get you going on the process, and they show you all different ways to like dive into that role. So that might be something that connect with.
Well, if we can pass it on.
Absolutely. Yes. Right. And Sam?
Oh, hi everybody, I'm Sam, focused on 3 things, or the 3 things that I'm also a dad, by the way.
Alright.
And I have some ideas, focus on 3 things, augmented reality, naturally with that, some generative AI, and blockchain. I sold an NFT company as a minority partner, and I earned a lot of lessons in taxes, so that's about it. And then psychedelic medicine, as I used to work in biotech and
Okay.
large drug manufacturing companies. And,
Any pain points?
I have a lot of pain points.
Okay. Okay.
Whether I should take severance or not, being
Okay.
one of them. And expert network calls I do a lot of,
Okay.
but that's all below
Right.
line, so, glad to be here today with.
Awesome, well, I appreciate it.
My name is Annette, and I've been doing software consulting for the past 6 years, but I want to do my own thing, so I don't have to work for someone else.
Yes, great, awesome.
My name's Allie, and I'm from all over, but recently North County, San Diego. I'm checking out Austin for a few months to
Oh,
see
wow,
if I'm
okay,
stay.
awesome.
Yeah, we'll see. And I'm currently, I have a company. I just left my corporate job about 2 months ago, and I'm in full swing with it. And I help people that get herpes or HSV, if otherwise known as HSV 1 or 2.
Right.
Mostly genital herpes are my clients. Helping break the stigma, helping them get over the pain points and dating. So my major pain point is that it's extremely taboo, and so it's harder to grow on social than I expected. TikTok's easy to grow, but I don't know how much experience. TikTok's like not good quality leads.
Yeah, I know.
So Instagram is where I need to grow, and for the quality, and it's just not. It's hard.
Okay, cool.
Hi, I'm Julie. I am a private tutor that was working mostly, or I had contract work mostly through a Manhattan-based company. My clients are largely in New York City and LA.
Okay.
I've been very successful as a tutor. I have more referrals than I can handle, and
That's a good thing.
And so it's a good thing. It's also the pain point.
Okay.
I would really like to grow in a couple different directions. One, I have written a lot of materials that are not like what else is out there. I would like to publish them and start advertising them, and potentially create course material that people can buy through a website or something. So
Yeah.
I would like that kind of visibility that enables me to maybe decrease my hourly work and start transitioning more towards passive income.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't have any clients in Austin. I don't even know if I need them really, but
I know, you're already in the big markets, you know, unless you wanna go to Westlake, you know, they got rich people there too.
yeah, so I definitely, in New York City, the company charges really high rates for me, but I have realized that
Is it at least 1,000 an hour?
it's 800, so,
Oh, okay.
but I really, obviously they take a significant portion of that.
I see, okay. So
So-
that's funny you say that, because just before y'all showed up and everything like that, I was talking to them, the ones that are here early, about a story I read 15 years ago, about a guy who does SAT tutoring in Manhattan.
Yeah.
And what he did was he used to just meet students in cafes and sit down, and then he started to notice, like, yeah, I gotta keep increasing my prices because, like, I can't keep taking on all these clients.
Yeah.
Well, do you know where I'm going with this?
What did he do? I don't know.
Okay, so what happened was he kept raising his prices, but his waiting list kept growing and growing and growing. And he's like, why is this happening? And he started to realize he niched so much that all he was catering to was a super, super wealthy rich of Manhattan. And those people were referencing him out to other super rich people around the world. And he had very strict guidelines. He's just like, hey, if your kid's doing this and he turns away for 1 second, I shut down the session. If this happens right here, I just stop this. Like, refunds, nothing. And the parents were on their kids. They're like, hey, you're not gonna mess this up. But his referral rate was ridiculous. How much was his hourly rate?
Well, I would imagine it would be, was it really low? I don't know.
No.
Nope,
It
18,
kept going up.
25.
Yeah, so
2,500?
I would, my boss at Manhattan, I think his rate is 1,800 an hour.
So 15 years ago, he was doing $1,500 an hour.
Wow, yeah.
And in fact, what he did was, because he had so many students, he built up a team of college students that would go and work in person at cafes around, and he would set that up as a system. And so he was able to push all those other students who were the lower tier, poor people, to those cafes and tutor them there and charge a rate of like maybe $300, $400 an hour, and he still had a waiting list.
Yeah, so I have done work for celebrity clients and things like that. I don't really know if I think actually I'm happier with a different kind of client, but I would want my work to be kind of angular in a certain sense. I really care about working with kids who have ADHD. I care about helping girls who struggle with math, and well, everyone who struggles with math. That's like that's like one of my major things. And and I like working with people who want big score increases. So like they're scoring in the 30th percentile and they want 95th.
Yes.
Because that's a journey and it's really valuable to me as a person to go on that journey with them. So
no, that's great.
So I want like that direction.
Okay. And I will tell you this, like even people who are just basic math tutors, there are those who make 6 figures a year doing just that. They don't do anything else, they just do basic math.
Yeah.
You know, and they do 6 figures just fine. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you come to the right spot. Hopefully you do stay. Maybe you learn something. Maybe you're just like, wow, this is amazing, or you're just like, wow, I paid too much for this.
No,
so,
no, it's okay. I'm not evaluating.
So, yeah. But thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey all, my name is Balu and I'm a grad student at UD Austin.
Okay.
So I just came here as a student. I don't have anything which I'm working on right now.
Okay.
So
no research, no thesis, nothing like that?
Nothing like that.
Okay. Right.
So I'm a human experience designer.
Okay.
So I mostly kind of work on problems and make them less problematic for both customers and for the clients. And I am currently working on a capstone project.
Okay.
I just want to kind of turn that into a possibility of a startup.
Sure.
And before that, I just want to kind of learn from everyone at the factory. And maybe do an internship or something like that. So just over here.
Well, I can tell you, like I said, you need to go play in South by.
Yeah.
Like it will change your life.
Yes.
You know, so.
I'm excited for the third part.
Yes. In fact, I know this is gonna sound funny, but who here saw the Mighty Ducks, the first movie? Okay, yeah, so this past weekend, they were doing a meet and greet, and I just happened to go talk to them, because for some reason nobody else was. So I got to talk to them for a long, long time about like what it was like to be a famous like kid making Disney movies. And you know what surprised me? Not a single one of them had ever been to South by. I was like, wait a minute, you are a famous celebrity, and you have never been to South by Film Festival. Anything like that. I was like, what is wrong with you? I was like, you come down here, I will show you where to go.
They think of it as the tech thing. That I'm from New York, and like I always thought it was just tech.
So you have to realize like the world comes to Austin during South by. Like before COVID, there was an average between like 300 and 400,000 people from around the world that would descend into Austin, and that's why Austinites hate South by, because it clogs up the traffic.
Yes.
It takes away from all the food joints that people are used to eating at, and they're just like, I hate these people, go away, you know? And yet, that's where all the influence and power comes from, because these film executives, they come in there, they don't look like film executives, they don't look like studio heads, because they're dressed down like they just woke up, yet they're the ones that make the movie deals, they're the ones that cut the checks, they're the ones that do all those things, because they're looking at these screenings and saying, we want to buy that movie, let's get into our distribution channel. You know, but do you know how to identify them? Most people do not. You know, do you know where they hang out? Most people do not. Yet they hold the keys to power. You know, and so I told these celebrities, I was just like, hey, you come down here, I will show you where to go. You know, so one of them lives in Dallas, and the others were having to fly back to New York. I was like, dude, you're missing so much fun. But anyways, Sandlot crew is about to show up in like 2 weeks. Anyway, so I'm gonna go do that. Yeah. So I talked to a lot of people. All right. Yes.
Oh,
you want to go? Well, so actually, we're doing introductions. If you want to go next, we're just
I
following.
just want to say the South by Southwest has no meaning to anybody. Everybody asks me, what the heck does that mean? South by Southwest. South of what? By what?
Oh yeah. Well, did you go to South by San Jose?
No.
Oh, you know that.
No.
Okay. Yeah. So they just finished their festival.
I give 40 seconds. My name is Daniel Husky. I'm originally from Czech Republic. I came to Austin in 1988.
Okay.
And I came here for music because Steve Ray Vaughan was still alive back then.
Yeah.
It was a great music scene and stuff, and I got to experience 6th Street when it was still 6th Street. But then I figured if I actually want to eat, I have to get a job that's not in music.
Right.
So since I already spoke 5 languages, I decided to do linguistics and computer science.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So I learned how to program, and that's been feeding me ever since. So.
There you go. Perfect. And thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
All right. Yes.
MP Rana, do consultancy stuff, work, and student as well, computer science. I've never been to South by Southwest.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, I keep hearing
We
about
gotta
it.
fix that. We gotta fix that.
So if the ticket is that expensive, how do you go?
How do I go?
Yeah, like, you know, just
So-
for a student,
Just
right?
one
because,
to go here.
because I have done South by for the past 15 years, I know everybody that runs South by, and I know how the whole events are structured. So I know how to get into those rooms. I know how to find the people that are like, hey, you wanna come in? We got an extra seat. Like, hey, we have an extra ticket, just come on.
So can I move in with you next week?
You know, I used to run a company where I would post on Eventbrite, they don't allow this anymore. And I would say, if you're coming in and you cannot afford to do South by, you buy my ticket, I will show you how to get into the events. I will show you how to do all that stuff. People buy the tickets, yes.
Hey, question for you. So this is my first time going.
Yeah.
And since I didn't want to pay, I signed up to be a volunteer.
Good.
So do you think
Which
this
one
worth it?
volunteer? Which did you sign up for? Music, film, or?
For music, but if I do 40 hours, I get the platinum badge.
Absolutely, yes.
So do you think it's
Yeah,
worth it?
yeah, absolutely, yeah. So however you can fit your 40 hours, see what you can do to get that knocked out. Maybe you can do it during South by Southwest education, and then you can go do all the stuff for tech, right away.
Okay, so education is not worth it. Tech is the one that
Okay,
matters.
so education is still important, but, it's only like 3 days, but if you can somehow, yeah.
So you can't get the 40 hours before.
I know, that's the
there.
problem. It's hard, but somehow you can work something out and then talk to your manager. There's a manager you're gonna be assigned to, talk to them and be like, hey, I wanna do tech. What can I do to get into everything? But make sure you fulfill your 40 hours for next week after that.
Okay.
So if you can promise that, they'll let you do a platinum for all the tech.
Do you need it for do you need the pass for the comedy stuff?
No. Yeah. So I'm gonna talk to you about why comedy is actually super important to it.
So what is the interactive portion?
What is the, which one?
Interactive?
That's tech.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, that's tech. So everybody that comes in that's debuting something new, just FYI, you do know like Twitter was born at South by a long time ago, and they came in, and I remember everybody was just like, hey, try this little app. It only has 140 characters. I'm like, that doesn't do anything, I was like, I can't say what I want to say. I was like, oh, you can, and they would just go out and then just plaster everybody on the street, be like, hey, download this app, try it out, see what you think, fill out a survey. That's real marketing, and look where they are today. Trash. But anyways. Alright, so this is me. This is what I do. So my name is Chris. I'm a digital nomad and I help people build and scale their businesses and travel the world. So on top of that, I help you build remote team members around the world. A lot of times people just think like, I can't afford somebody, I can't do this, I need a web developer. Chances are, if you can afford to live in Austin, you can afford a remote team, period. And if you're not from Austin, you live in a major city like London, Dubai, Chicago, Seattle, Los Angeles, New York, you can definitely afford a remote team. So, yes. So this is how I work. This is my office. My job is to go to parties and events, and that is all I do. Why? Because nobody's looking for me. Nobody's going to be searching for me in what I do. Because chances are, you're not going to be like, I'm on Google, and I need somebody to help me build my team and scale my business, and maybe help me travel the world. You're not looking for that. You're not searching for that, and there's no way to do SEO for that. Most digital nomads have websites, they have like YouTube channels, and it's all about the travel experience. It's all about like, I just got back from Bermuda, I just did this, I was in the Caribbean, but there's nothing about like, hey, can you show me how to do this, unless you sign up for their course, But me, I'm very hands-on. I come in and say, what are you trying to do? And if you're saying like, well, I want to put a store in Turkey, cool, I can help you do that, If you need to scale your business and you're just like, hey, I need to do lead generations all over the world because I want to do remote learning for students, I can show you how to do that, But you're not searching that, that's the thing. So I go to a lot of events for that, yes.
How do you handle NDA?
NDAs? A lot of times, most of the people don't even know. They're not at that level yet because they're not ready for it. But for me, I don't sign NDAs. If you come to me and you're just like, hey, you have to sign an NDA, I'm just like, nope. Because it's one of those things where like, I've seen startups pulled out with like VCs, and even VCs are just like, if you're giving us an NDA, you're wasting our time. Like, we can move on to somebody else that's ready to move faster. So yeah, I don't do NDAs. Period. I understand the point, but I had people come to me all the time, and just like, I want to take you out to dinner. Investors, people in tech. I'm trying to get my app in front of these people. I said, cool, I'll take a free dinner. And I go and I'm like, great, what's your app? You gotta sign this first. I'm like, just tell me your app. And they're like, oh no, it's gonna change the world. It's like, great, what are you competing against? Well, we're competing against TikTok. Love it, great, I already know I'm wasting my time, you know?
Just
Yeah.
do free dinner or something?
Did you order
I
dessert?
got my dessert, and it was a cheesecake, strawberry. And I told them they were crazy. I said, no, you're never gonna get in front of me the rest of it, so, but yeah. But yes, I get that all the time, so. But I do a lot of networking because, again, I meet so many people who, they're stuck in their business or they're stuck with their idea, and I help get them their first person, and that's usually a virtual assistant. And most of the times I've learned as Americans, they're so clueless how virtual assistants work. And I sit down with you and I show you the whole process. So if I was to ask on a survey here, how much does a virtual assistant cost you for 10 hours worth of work a week? What would you give me? Yes, go ahead.
50.
50 for the week?
50 for 10 hours.
Okay. Anybody else
I
agree
was
with that?
gonna say 80, yeah.
Okay, what would you say?
Around there.
Okay. Anybody else?
100.
Okay. You were the first person ever to get it right. I have met people to go as high as 2,000. And I said, 2,000, yeah, for 10 hours of work a week.
We're talking what, like a ChatGPT bot?
No,
This is a virtual assistant.
Like
This
a
is a person,
Human person.
a human person, and he got it correct for that's the very first time I understood, you know. Everybody else I meet as Americans, they're so clueless as the pricing models. And for $50, that person can do so much work for your business. They can do lead generations, they can manage your emails, they can run your newsletters, they can do outreach, they can, you know, help do all, yes, your
$50 an hour, right?
No.
No, total.
And does it go, like, depending on where they are, and I guess this is just like the ethical side, like it does go further for them, right? Like,
Yes.
like I hired someone to do all my lead gen in like Bangladesh, and he I didn't feel bad because I thought he was like honest with me. He was like, no, this is a good wage,
Yep.
but
Absolutely. Yeah,
how do you know
because
how-
a lot of times, so you're not alone in saying this, because when I do my digital nomad stuff, I've always had this, when I bring this part up in the course, everybody's just like, but that just sounds so wrong. I'm like, because you're American.
and they haven't seen and had
Exactly.
yeah.
You are not from their culture, you are not in their world. In the Philippines and India, and especially in like Nigeria, there are virtual assistant academies. And there are so many people who go through these programs to get certified just to work for American people or companies. That is what they do. And I know how to find those people. So when you work with them, you know they're completely certified, they know the culture, they know the slang, they know the nuances, they know that because they train for that. But if you come in and you're just like, no, your rate is too low, you're messing up their economies of scale. You know, so that's like me coming in and be like, yeah, I'm gonna give you $1 million because you made me a lot of money. You throw off their life, you know? You throw it off, yes.
I don't think they will mind the
Yes.
Well, the fellas I'm going to talk to tomorrow, I want my system set up with AI. It's automatically, everything would be done automatic.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't really need an assistant, per se.
So AI is not there yet. That's why I still do virtual assistants, because your AI tool cannot pivot as fast as a virtual assistant can do that. Because you might throw off that AI to be like, hey, wait, stop that. I need you to work on this today. I need you to contact this whole list of people and then get back to me on who said yes or what. Can an AI tool follow those instructions yet?
Well, what if the
Yeah.
system is set up in a way that everything is repetitive, right? So there's
So if you're talking about like Zapier or like a logic flow table
Right,
chart,
yeah.
you can still do that, but you still need the human touch if something goes wrong. And that's where your virtual assistant comes in. So even if, let's say, you run all your AI tools, your VA comes in and fills in the blocks, guess what? That's really only like an hour or two worth of work a week. That still comes out to $10. Isn't that worth it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, in a foreign country, not here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes. Okay. Any question more about that?
Yeah, the skill set, like, let's say, you're familiar with Square?
Yep.
Square is constantly updated menus and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
You hire somebody like that?
Yeah. So they can go in and then they can manage that for you in the background, because the best part is, most of these people that I help you find, they're working when you're sleeping.
How do I get hold of you?
So I have all that at the end. Yes, I have all that at the end. But yes, so this is how I actually work, because I go to so many parties and events. In fact, I spoke in front of teenagers the other day, and they're like, I want your job. I'm like, I don't have a job, I have a lifestyle. Okay, I have a lifestyle. So yes.
Are you planning to go to Japan?
Yes, I do, because, so part of my digital nomad lifestyle is that I wanna make sure I do all the luxury train rides in the world. And so Japan has some of the best train rides I've ever seen. There's one that's actually designed in the shape of a robot, and I so wanna ride that.
And they came up with the digital nomad visa, right?
They did. So in fact, last week, if you were in my class, which I know probably most of you weren't, I covered digital nomad news, and so South Africa just released a digital nomad visa, South Korea, and then also Japan just released it. But Japan's digital nomad visa is very, very difficult to get. Just realize that. Your threshold for income is very, very high. So, but yes, it is available.
I thought it was 66,000 USD.
Yeah. So for some, so I think for like Spain, I think it's like 45 or 50 for Spain, which is still low, but Japan has a higher threshold because they just want to be careful because it's so new to them.
Is it income or net worth?
Income, yes.
Or no?
Per month?
No.
No.
Oh,
Per-
yeah.
per sheet.
Yeah, not per, yeah.
So if you're doing per month, you're probably from Dubai. Just saying.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna do a quick
What
exercise.
is it about Dubai? If you don't mind my asking.
So the reason why I follow Dubai so much is because you'd be very surprised how many Americans live there now. The crazy thing though is the U.S. is only one or two countries that is taxed based on citizenship. So even though if you move over there, you're still taxed. But if you're from London or anywhere else in the world, you can move to Dubai and never pay taxes. But if you go there, you'll be so shocked how many Americans are actually there. And it looks as if like you're still in America.
Oh, yeah.
But you have to be aware, the laws are strict.
Yeah, no, I've been there before, but,
Do you go to big parties? Do you go to big conferences? Do you do any of that stuff?
I'm a low-key kind of girl,
see,
so I don't
yeah,
know.
see.
Dubai is like,
Dubai is
Vegas on steroids.
I know,
Or crack.
I know,
You
absolutely.
know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So basically, but so I'm not concerned about the parties and things like that. I'm talking about the tech culture.
Yep.
But what I'm getting from you is that it's actually more about the parties and the connections than anything else.
So, do you know who Sean Combs is?
Is
P.
that
Diddy?
Thank you.
Who?
Do you know Sean? He was a famous rapper.
Oh,
Do you know what he does now in Los Angeles? Do you know what his job is?
Host parties.
Very good. That is right. Why does he throw parties now? Why is that his thing? To do what?
Just connect.
He does that. He does that because he wants Hollywood to come into his house, to his place, and that's where they're gonna make the deals. He wants to control the name on the list. So he knows that if he's bringing in music executives, if he's bringing in studio heads, if he's bringing in powerful actors, guess what? They're all gonna network. They're all gonna talk to each other. That's where the deals are
I
gonna
hope he
happen.
has good taste, you know?
So I was talking to a luxury real estate agent just the other day over in the Dominion. Are you here for one person business?
Yeah, sorry, I'm a little late.
No, it's okay. And there was a house, open house party that I went to. And the house that he was showcasing, I talked to him, I was like, hey, what is this house for? He's like, well, actually this house is meant for parties. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, really? And I'm like, yes. He's like, this house was actually designed for parties, not for a family. And so I said, you know that's a big industry in LA. Like people go and buy these like $50 million homes, $60 million homes, and they rent them out to like corporate events and parties and things like that per night. And the deposits are like $50,000, $100,000 for this stuff. And that's the whole point, it's a business. So when I was talking to that agent, I said, hey, what can I do to buy this house? He's like, here's your problem. The HOA is gonna get after you. I'm like, and it was only 2.3. So that was super cheap, you know, so. But I did want to mention this. So who here knows about this? Or who here went? Okay, well, it was in Dubai. You went?
No.
Yeah. All right, so what happened was Dubai has created this huge festival that brings together some of the top content creators in the world. And if you take their follower count, what do you get as a total? 1 billion. Okay? So this whole expo brought these people together, they showcased what they're doing, what are they working on, where the future of content creation is going, and at the very end of this festival, guess what the government did?
You gave everybody a Lambo?
Oh, you can go to the desert and pick one of those. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. So what they did was they announced their very first creator fund. And that is the same as what would be called a stipend here. And that is they want to support these creators, they want to provide insurance, they want to provide housing, they want to provide all this stuff. Because they are now the first people or a country to recognize content creators as a real job.
Wow.
Dubai.
The US will never do that. Like, that's how far behind we are. Like, you don't even have schools who are teaching AI right now, who are teaching robotics, who are teaching like content creation. We're so far behind, you know? But here, when they did that, it signaled to the world, hey, we are paying attention, these people make money, and they bring the money. So.
Is this a remote job you can do from here, or you have to be in Dubai?
You can do it anywhere. But I mean, like, when they do this kind of stuff, it brings them money. And I've seen some of the influencers that I follow, when they go to Dubai, they're going because, one, it just increases their follower count, and those parties, those events, those speaking gigs, like, it is insane what happens in Dubai. Because like, you can say like, hey, I'm going to Dubai, where should I go? Then all your followers will like, hey, I have a party, you should show up. In fact, later on in the program, there's a secret party happening during South by that I'm gonna let you know. Yeah, so, in fact, that's his job, to throw secret parties. So let's get back over here.
I still can't get the password to the Red Dead Step Shop.
Yes. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna show you a thing. You're gonna pair up in 2s or 3s, and I'm gonna show you this thing that you've never heard of before. And once you do, you're going to be amazed what this is. All right. Who here has seen this before? Good. Thank you. All right. Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna pair up in 2s or 3s, and I want you to come up with at least 2 to 3 business ideas on just this app. Okay? And you're gonna have about 5 minutes or so, I'm gonna give you your timer. This is what you're gonna do, okay? I'm gonna go back. These are the rules, but this is the app. Any questions so far?
Wait, so we have to get the app.
No, you do not have to touch the app. The
Okay.
idea here is that you're going to understand that this app allows you to put whatever you want behind it and sell it.
And
Do you
then
understand?
then people have to put their email in or pay for it.
Right. So let's say I do cooking classes and I sell recipes. And I'm at a vendor, and they're just like, I want to know more, how do I get your recipes? Well, here's my app, and just like Venmo, you ask for my username, and then they see my username, they get a preview of the recipe, and they're like, recipes are $10 a file, and then they can go and click whatever they want, and then they pay, and it transfers to their account.
Quick question,
Got
is
it.
it protected so it's not just downloadable so they can like completely take the content? Is it like,
So you get a preview of the file, and you don't get the file.
but once they pay for it, like,
You get a transfer of the file.
you get a transfer, but so is there any way, or is this just something naively, I just have to let my hands up, like, cause I'm doing this right now, and like, I have a PDF that people can download, but once they have it, they could do whatever they want with
Yep.
it, copy
Yep.
it.
Right, absolutely,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So the idea here is like, you can sell data, you can scrape data, you can do, like, you have to be very creative on like what you can really do with this app. And then when I saw it for the first time, I thought like, wow, so many people can become millionaires so fast, because you can sell almost any kind of thing behind this.
Yeah.
So like a
But also, like,
spreadsheet
A
or-
spreadsheet, exactly. So do you know the people who sell like Excel templates? You know, and they make 6 figures
But
a
then
year.
what's,
just doing
we're
that.
not, why wouldn't someone download it and then go around and sell it again, like steal their
resell it.
business?
Because that's the market, that's what
Yeah.
people are gonna do.
Most people are paying for it,
Alright,
that's
yeah.
smart enough to do that.
Yeah.
Like, you have to realize.
But also,
this.
like, how likely is that anyway?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't wanna get off track here, because we're
Sorry.
we're cutting it short for time, but to answer your question real quick, you have to realize not many people will do that because
Yeah.
people are lazy.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, like, there's a resource
I-
where they like charge me to download materials, and I always think, oh, I'll save the materials and not pay for it again,
Yep.
and here I am paying for it every single year. So like, I pay for the same materials like 3 times,
That'd be one
because I
of them.
can't save them. I mean,
Okay, so I'm
in
back
which case
here.
they probably won't, they probably don't care.
Here's the
But
place
I
to sit right
save
here.
this time, you know?
So, please get together with your group, pick somebody, 2 to 3 people, come up with at least 2 to 3 business ideas, if you can. And then I'm gonna say you can use AI tools as a part of this, you know, like ask ChatGPT if you have it. And I'm gonna show you what other options are available if you don't wanna ever get the app, but that's a starting point. So I'm gonna start my timer.
Yeah, you guys get 3.
and send it to so we do something in this let's say each point like has different how do we find
So on this page,
when we are it's kind of customized to one particular entity. So let's say if you want to be 26, 25, and the blue is so this is something
I think how to not share your partner is really good. I mean, people are really like,
You meant to say how to use it. Oh, how not spread. You meant how to not
spread.
Oh, I think that my current one is how to share with someone.
Alright, we got 30 seconds up.
I would definitely say don't use the word share.
I thought about it, I should have made one.
And I guess I'll represent and then next is
But I'm going to stick to my business, but anyway.
Alright, so 10 seconds.
But I know once I get started, there's gonna be such a.
Alright, so that's time.
I could different price.
So that's time.
Gravitate to that.
Everyone? Yeah, so that's time. Alright, so we're gonna go real quick, and we're gonna see what everybody came up with, okay? And then after that, I'm gonna show you an extreme example that, besides that app, another way you can make money selling files, okay? Alright, so who wants to go first?
We have to put this idea into a file.
Okay, you wanna go first? Alright, so everyone listen, go ahead.
Authentic Sicilian recipes,
Sure.
because it happen to spend a lot of time in Sicily, and like
Sure.
there's some amazing hidden recipes that you're not gonna be able to find them on the internet if
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you're Italian.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Perfect, okay. Any other?
I'm just thinking my real estate, there's always battles over property, you know,
Yeah.
getting the best price, so, I could use that as, set a particular price and you can pay for it and,
Right.
get the list and that type of thing.
But couldn't you build a mailing list and be like, hey, I have a list of private investors that they want access to first properties that I know of right away, and we can sell that list to them because they want first dibs, right?
Right.
So isn't that a business?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, okay, cool, alright.
And for me, I have a patent-dependent trading app.
Okay.
Well, it's not an app, it's a process that you go through that I don't think anyone else on Wall Street uses. I was
Okay.
actually trying to develop it.
Yeah.
I can just pop it into Excel and then
Populate and sell the file?
sell the file.
Yeah, exactly, perfect, I
Yeah.
love it, alright, go ahead.
So we kind of missed the file thing right off the bat.
Okay.
So,
Alright.
because we just did the ChatGPT thing and just kind of ran with that, but we can work it into a file thing. So it was a combination of Italian and, learning Italian and, wine, selection.
Okay.
And so, I guess, putting it into a file thing, so maybe some level of tasks in order to do an Italian lesson that would then get you the file to download, which would be the recommended wine to go with that, and then,
Sure.
who knows, maybe that kicks off a workflow that sends you a little file.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, that works. Yeah, good. Next.
So our idea was to basically have a content where we have a scale of how much we can sell these different videos for. So let's say, do you wanna know what happened in Davos when somebody has a secret file? Do you wanna know what happened at the Bohemian Grove in California?
Right.
Do you wanna know if a person has herpes and you wanna let them know that, hey, by the way. So that's the idea, to basically share the video only for that particular person.
Yeah.
We'll go over there and then, if true, then the workflow basically says if you're doing this, then this is gonna be the outcome, you're gonna find out information, but you're gonna have to pay for that, please do not share the video, will self-destruct when it's done.
Yep.
And as far as the explanation goes, the question is, how do you advertise, right? So again, secrets are, that's our business,
Yeah.
and you have to pay for them.
Right, very good, I love it, perfect. Alright, do you wanna go next one?
Sure.
Okay.
I made a little slideshow.
Yeah, we all wanna come around, I wanna see this.
The first one's called, meditate, with a following on social.
Okay.
You can unlock, it's like a lens, it's like iOS only right now.
Yeah,
Attaches to your
okay.
face.
Perfect.
And for box breathing, so when you inhale, it gets bigger.
Yeah.
It gets smaller, and then you have to exhale.
Right.
And that can scale into a list of coaches, or I forget what that is, can't see it.
Very nice.
And then on that note, I think, spirituality is super big, so
Right.
interfaith, you could just unlock anything for whichever religion you want, and it's not like an idol, because it's not really there. If you touch it, it's gone.
Yeah.
I think including witches is great.
What's the one on the bottom?
Yeah, cute.
That's fire, Zoroastrianism.
Yeah.
Cause I think that's all lit.
Yeah.
Where's Jesus?
He's everywhere. Good reminder.
And couldn't you do that like as a subscription model for somebody who looks at your stuff and be like, hey, every day I want to see a new file up here, and I can get my, astrology thing or something, or tarot.
Yes, astrology is great as well.
Perfect.
And so
Okay.
and on that note of scripts, I was thinking, unlike a Bitcoin NFT script, but that should really be blockchain. So
Okay.
I'm like, okay, I can't. Is this my last video? Well, I can't sell drugs, but I can sell a model of the molecule.
Okay.
And that way
There you
it's,
go.
FDA.
You're teaching chemistry. Very good.
Yes.
You're teaching chemistry.
Organic
So
chemistry.
I know how to make people smile. I know dentists are very cash rich, easier to get into than hospitals,
Right.
but it might be so big that it's already kind of super competitive.
Yep.
So maybe just teaching people how to smile with a lens that you have to match.
Absolutely.
Because if you get too much Botox, you stop smiling.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Shocking.
Shocking.
Like scripture, something to be.
Yeah.
That model of daily dose, something to be happy.
Very cool. All right, awesome. Yeah, so in case nobody ever came up with this, remember you have Instagram filters, lenses, like Photoshop lenses. You can sell those too on such a platform, So, but yes, that's very good. All right, next one.
No, we were with them.
Okay. So, the idea which we're working on is, so a lot of people right now kind of want to lose weight or kind of be a fitness something like that. But each kind of body type is different from a lot of people. So one thing which works for one will not work for other person. So what if we kind of create all the body types and all the fitness goals and kind of make separate PDF files or something like that based upon each and every body type and something like that, and sell it on the website.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a great thing. All right, so you want to see my example?
Yeah.
All right. So instead of using that app, I'm going to show you the other option that you can also do to sell. Do you see what you're looking at?
Yeah.
All right. Very good.
Are you selling it?
I can sell this for $30. How do I do that? Wow, you're close. You're very close. So on this system right here is an entire list of all private parties and events and free stuff that's happening. It's a very long list. But couldn't I just go to share and ask for your email? You give me the money, you get access to the file. We're done, right?
You have their email. Now you have their email. So this, right?
So this is another way if you don't want to use an app, if you don't want to install stuff, things like that. So if you build stuff like this, look at all the stuff that's happening. So it goes on and on and on.
You just make them not able to edit, right? You just put them as the.
I can basically not give you editing permissions. I can give you like view, and then other people are just like, but could I copy that? I'm like, sure, why not? But you will not get the updated version if you copy it. And this stays updated because I have VAs that monitor this. Yes, go ahead.
So they don't have the schedule yet up, right?
What do you mean? So this is unofficial.
Unofficial one, okay.
Yes. So yeah.
So the official stuff is not gonna be on their page?
Right, because it's not part of South by.
This is, okay.
Yeah.
This is the afterthought.
This is the who you
Like,
know.
yeah, so as you see, it says at the very top, unofficial South by Tech events and all their things right there. So you go in, you have the, common party, things like that, leadership band. So there is a lot of stuff happening that, like I said, I've been doing this for a long time, and there's all kinds of things that are going on every day that are not advertised. So, but again, I can just literally go into share, and I can say like, hey, you give me some money, I will ask for your email, and you get it, you can look at it, it's on your phone, simple transfer, And then once the whole event is over, I go in and cut all the links, and that's it. So when you think on that kind of scale, then you realize like, there's so many ways to sell information. And I've seen like on Startup Nation, Side Hustle Nation, sorry. There was a lady, all she sells is Excel templates, and she does 6 figures easily. She does about $230,000 a year just selling Excel templates, and that's it. And she'll do custom templates for you if you need it, But that's such an easy side hustle. So, all right.
How does she attract business?
What's that?
How does she attract business? How do people find her?
So she has an Etsy shop, and so she does a lot of SEO, a lot of things like that. So she also has an option on her store to be like, hey, if you need a custom Excel template made for your like startup or your business or anything like that, or like family, things like that, she can do custom forms. But my question is she doing the forms?
No.
Very good.
No.
Who does she have do her forms?
Virtual assistant.
Thank you. We are learning to scale.
Quick
Yes.
question, just because it's on the last topic. So because I know this is a way too big of a topic to cover right now, but
Sure.
when it comes to pricing these things, like I'm currently deciding between pricing something at $14 or at $39 or at $139 or whatever.
Right.
And I just know it will affect the scale, like it will affect how many people.
Who's gonna affect the scale? Who's your audience?
People who have herpes and want to know how to tell someone they're dating that they have herpes. So it's like.
And what is the income range for that?
That's what I was gonna ask, is that the first thing you think about? Like, I want my clients to be making over $100,000 a year, cause I want them to be able to pay me
Okay.
more money when they.
So, because we have a lot of psychological research on that whole topic itself, what is the breakdown on income ranges that people can track?
Everyone, it's not lower, it's like everyone.
So then it becomes a matter of just like subjective pricing, because then you would have like a custom quote if you're from this part of the world or from this part of the neighborhood, things like that.
Yeah.
So then it would be a dynamic pricing system.
Do you do that with your stuff too, or do you just make it flat fees?
I usually do flat because I don't like to deal with
Yeah,
dynamic pricing. You know, I just do flat stuff.
Yeah.
Some people are just like, but you're not charging enough. I'm like, I'm okay.
You're catching the people that you wouldn't have got.
Right, exactly. Like
Yeah.
if I went and took that list and be like, hey, it's $1,000 for this list and everything like that, I'm only gonna get the people from LA and New York, you know? That's not enough, you know?
Yeah.
So, but then at the same time, people are just like, yeah, but you don't want everybody to know this list. And then the parties are full. I was like, well, there's a reason why all the lists are already on wait lists, you know? So, yeah. Yes.
In the psychology, field, they do that sliding scale.
Oh.
So maybe that can be something
You look at, yeah.
like, okay, this is my rate, but if you have financial, you apply.
Yeah.
I can give you a sliding scale, so they can keep your target market at a certain echelon, but still be able to help others.
Right. Excellent. Yes. All right. So we're gonna move on to the next part, which is a very important part that people tend to forget, and that is your mailing list. This is your bread and butter of your company. And so many people I meet who I work with, they tend to just ignore this because they think, I just need to build something really amazing and the world will show up. And it does not work like that. If you build it, nobody's going to come.
Invite them in.
Yes, okay? But what does your mailing list actually do for you? It reminds people that you exist. There's a reason why Coca-Cola still runs ads, even though they've been around forever, right? Do you still need to be reminded that Coke exists? No, you need to be reminded at a moment when you're thirsty. That's why there's ads. Your mailing list does the same thing. Your mailing list serves that purpose of running newsletters. So when you hire teams to go in there and do all that research, guess what happens? That's reminding people that you exist, your business exists, but you're also providing a benefit when you have a newsletter. How many people have seen newsletters and they're just terrible? They're awful, and you're just like, unsubscribe, I'm done with this. And how many times have you seen a newsletter and it's like so beautiful? So I'm gonna show you one. This guy right here. Does anybody know this?
No.
So what he does is, this is a paid newsletter, and he only charges $15. And if you look at how many people he has subscribed, it's right on the screen. Take 15 times that number, and that tells you how much he's making a month. Okay? You have to remember that number is super tiny in our world of content creators. Okay? Even 100K on YouTube nets you like, what is it? 5,000, 6,000 a week, in content creation. So he's doing this, but all he does is very specific newsletters on like data, for economics, policies around the world, things like that. So he has a very niche audience, and they're dedicated to this stuff. So who here has already done the math?
I did.
What is the number?
It's 585,000.
Is that a good number per month? Okay.
It's $1. $1.
All right. Is he making the newsletter? No. What is he doing?
Providing the information.
He has a team of data scientists that go in and they collect all the stuff, they collate it, okay? And then he has somebody else that puts it into a nice format. And he runs the system. So when the newsletter comes out, all he's doing is getting the traction to build a newsletter. And he's going out doing speaking events to do that, yes.
So if this is our case study, if you, the way you presented, like, this is the idea, this is how do you scale it?
Right.
How do you make money, and then how do you make it a full-scale business? For us, like, if you just 1 or 2 minutes, how do you want to do that? Like, how do you get the people, they start with 9,000 subscribers?
Followers.
So the idea here is you have South by coming up, and I'm going to keep using this because you're having a lot of people come in. The example I gave you was if you build it, they will come, and it does not work. Don't do that. You have to get out in front of people, and you have to do traction. So when South by comes in, there's going to be so many people around. You should have your phone with you with a little mailing list thing, and be like, hey, I do this. This is what's happening. Go to parties, go to events. Now you see why I go to parties and events, because when I talk to people, like, hey, do you want to join my mailing list? Sure, absolutely. They go in, they sign up, done. You build it slowly, and you keep it going. But you go to more parties, and you keep going, and guess what starts to happen? It grows exponentially. Because then people start to say, like, hey, you need to get this newsletter, this is what they cover. Now, I'm not actually writing the newsletter. Like, for me, work, don't do that. You know, so I have people who work for me, and that's the idea, is you learn to scale that way. So when you run your newsletter, somebody out there is doing some amazing work that I'm glad they're doing it. That's what you want to get to. Because then when you get to this level right here, then you see how you can start scaling. So what happens next after this? The reason why I know this is because he was in Fast Company, and he was part of the Gen Z culture. So he's around, I think he's like 25 or 26, and he runs this amazing newsletter. And now because of that, he goes out to conventions and conferences that deal with economic policies, data mining, stuff like that. So guess what happens every time he speaks? More people sign up. Okay? And it works. You know? So if you're okay with that number she just said per month.
Yep.
You know? So. Alright. So that's why you have free, it's basically just making free money. Because every time you shoot out your newsletter, you might have something next that grabs a program, like somebody's attention, like, hey, I'm releasing a new course this week, I'm going to be speaking at this event, and you're like, oh my gosh, I got to be there, you know, and it drives more traffic. And if you have that engagement and that awareness, people will start to encourage other people, hey, you got to get this newsletter. You need to keep growing, you know. That's where the money is. That's why when you read a really good newsletter, you're just like, wow, I got so much out of that.
But the majority, would you say, of newsletters, like that I see from content creators, are just like the beginning of the funnel? Like, they're not charging people at the beginning to sign up for their newsletter.
That's right, because eventually what's going to happen? Like later on,
it's going to convert them to like
a course,
or
you
like
know,
their own private area of their website
yeah,
or whatever.
a mastermind group,
Yeah,
you know, I'm going to speak at this, go get tickets, things like that. So when they get to that level, then all of a sudden their numbers start to change, and guess what starts to happen? You get to now charge for advertising space on your newsletter.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden it does a reverse effect on you. Because it was like, hey, how many's on your newsletter? Well, I have about 100,000 subscribers. Are you looking for advertisers? Now all of a sudden, guess what happens? What did I say at the beginning? Now the money comes to you. You going out in the street and building that newsletter, you going to parties, you going to events, and building that stuff, it does a reverse effect later on. Why is it celebrities, they go to a restaurant, and they're like, no, you don't have to pay, it's okay.
I know, right? Because everybody goes there.
Yeah, because everybody goes there, because now you can say, that guy was here. He sat in that chair, don't sit there. So that's the idea. Like getting to 1,000 is not difficult, because if you get out there and you're networking, you're going to parties, you're going to events, you're going to South by, you're talking to people. Guess what starts to happen in your newsletter, in your mailing list? It just grows and grows and grows, and then it starts to grow on its own because you built the momentum. You know. So if you come in here and then you're just like, hey, you can easily do this. Go to MailChimp. It's super easy to set up a mailing form. It's super easy.
Is it cool to take a picture of this?
Absolutely. Everything you take a picture.
Why not direct through Squarespace or Wix?
So these are just examples.
Okay.
Yeah, if you have your own personal preference, you're just like, I love this company. Yes, please, by all means.
Okay.
But I'm going to show you something better that most people are not thinking about. And this is actually a very, very interesting way to do it. Okay? So here's how to scale to 100K at South by. Alright? You're going to create a sign-up form. Alright? You can use whatever you want. You're going to go out and promote it. You're going to go to events. You're going to talk to people that are waiting in line. And you're going to be like, hey, what are you here for? What are you doing? Hey, this is what I do. And if you're interested, here it is. You can turn it into a QR code, okay? Your form you should make it so easy for somebody to get to your mailing list to sign up. You want to eliminate all the friction. Isn't that what Amazon does when you buy something? So, who here knows about this tactic? Survey marketing. Hey, I'm doing a survey, would you be interested in taking it? Let me know, I want feedback. And at the very end, you capture their what? Email. Okay? That is a very popular tactic that I've seen used at South by. In fact, a lot of conferences and conventions, they do surveying. So you do a survey, hey, sign up for this, cool, you know? Or who else is seeing, like, you go to the mall, hey, win this truck, you know? Just fill out this really long form, you know? All they're doing is capturing your email and their information, you know? But then you turn around and you sell your information, you know? You start to promote what it is you do. And you have that stuff. And if you know how data brokering works, you collect their information through MailChimp or whatever, and now you can sell that data to data brokers. And then that data gets sent to advertisers, and you get a paycheck for that. But you monetize by building your team, you scale it, and then you market and sell it. Yes?
Question, instead of doing this face-to-face, we can buy those.
Okay, yes, if you want to buy a mailing list, by all means, you can buy a mailing list. But it doesn't mean those people are going to stay on it once you send your first newsletter. Because if you send your first newsletter and those people are just like, why am I getting a newsletter for this topic, and your unsubscribe rate is like 80%, you wasted your money. This is why I go to networking events, because I meet everybody in person, they know who I am, and I've made that relationship, so yes, they want to join the mailing list. If I buy a mailing list, yes, I can go buy a mailing list for $1 million, and I can pay that price and get it. You can do that. But if you're saying it because you don't want to deal with people, that's something different, you know?
No, I'm thinking about the scaling, how long it will take for us to do that.
So realize like South by is only like a week and a half. You know, if you want to break it down, like really does 4 or 5 days. So you can easily get to 1,000 at South by. You're going to go to comedy events, comedy shows, get up on stage, talk to people. Hey, I do this. If you like it, here's my QR code. Sign up. There's a lot of drunk people. They forget they sign up for your newsletter. You know, and now you capture their email. You know, so I'm not being deceiving on that stuff because other companies do.
Wait, is that how easy it is? I can just go up on, like, how do I get up on the stage? I would love to get up on the stage.
So comedy shows, they always do, well actually they do it every week here in Austin.
Yeah, but I mean, at South by Southwest, like, don't you have to, like, be on the.
Because a lot of times they'll be like, hey, this is an improv show, we're gonna have these famous comedians, does anybody wanna join us? And you get on stage.
Oh, wow.
You know, and they're like, sure. But the reason why nobody really takes a bump on that offer is because so many people are introverts. You know, they're just there for a good laugh and a beer, you know? But if you join the audience and you participate, guess what? Everybody remembers your face. And now you have a reason to talk to everybody else in the room. They're like, man, you were so funny, that was amazing. I love that joke you made. That baby, perfect, you know? So, you want to have every reason to be in front of people, so that way you can push your QR code, your survey marketing, whatever it is you need to grow your mailing list, because your mailing list is going to take care of you in the end. How many of y'all have a mailing list right now? Right. Is it past 1,000?
No.
Right. So let me give you a realization. If you have a mailing list at least 800 people, that averages about 70 to 80,000 a year, if you know what you're doing. I have met people who have mailing lists of 2,000 and they make no money with it. And I'm like, why did you do that? You should be rich right now. Rich, you know. But they don't know how to do business, you know, so.
What if my answer is I was waiting to meet you first?
Yes. Alright, so we don't have enough time, so I'm just gonna skip this exercise. But launching at South by, here's how to go from this, okay? So when you get to South by, you're gonna realize like there's so much going on, there's so many events happening. You just wanna be out in public and you wanna walk around with your phone, make sure you bring a battery. And if you have a survey thing, you can set it up in Google Forms, you can set it up in MailChimp, whatever it is, you can do that, do a survey, and interact with people, talk to them, what are you here for, what are you doing? Hey, how's it going? Perfect.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did anyone park downstairs and need a voucher for the garage?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah?
Well, we already put
Great.
a credit card.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a ticketless garage, so it just keeps track of your credit card, and it's just $8 to get out with this.
Perfect.
You
All right.
want? You're
No, I'm good.
Is it here or the next?
It's the one downstairs.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Alright, thank you. Alright, so this is your timeline. And so for your timeline and everything, you want RSVP for all this stuff. So after this slide, I'm going to show you the list. I'm going to show you the site. Basically just go home and just start signing up for every little thing you can possibly do. Remember, you need to figure out your marketing strategy. You're like, where do I want to be? What's going on? Where are the big stuff happening? Okay? When you look at the list, try to just pinpoint stuff on a custom Google map of where these events are going to be, and you can plan out your days. Okay? Because then you know, like, okay, there's going to be a lot of people in this region. I want to go hit them all up, and I'm going to go talk to them. If you are very bad at talking to strangers, go fix that. Like, right away. Okay? Like, I'm a master networker for a reason because I do it so often. I can walk into a room, and the majority of the time, I probably know most of the people there. If it's in Austin, I probably know most of the people there. But when it's a new room, I'm excited because I'm like, wow, all these amazing people to be on my mailing list. So, if you do this right, you should be exhausted at the end of all this. Okay? If you are not exhausted, that means you took naps, you were going home, and you probably had lunch, and you took your time, and you probably was like, not today, I'm good, you know. Because you should be everywhere. Okay?
So I'm actually taking this week off, so.
Perfect, yes.
So it's something that goes from like probably like 8 in the morning until like 8 p.m.?
Right, 7 in the morning all the way to 2 a.m.
2 a.m.?
Because the party, the show.
Oh.
Parties, after parties. So
Okay,
remember,
that makes sense.
the after parties are where you want to be because that's where everybody's like, they're done for the day, they've done their panels, you know, speaking, they want to relax, they're in town for Austin, so what are they going to do? They're going to go eat the food, they're going to go down to the restaurants, they're going to go to the bars, and they're going to walk around and be normal people. And that's the time you want to talk to them. Yes,
Okay. So, I think she mentioned that you're taking off, you're saying?
Yes.
So that's what I'm thinking. So should we just take off? Because if I'm going with my office, then I have to walk with my colleagues.
Right.
Right? So I'm losing that opportunity. I shouldn't, it's not ethical or it's not moral, I guess.
Right.
So if I want to do that, I should be taking off, focus fully on this whole week, just, hey, this is that thing.
Yes, yeah.
This
And
is that
you want to get
business.
out there. Like I said, get your phone ready for whatever tools you need. If you need to make sure you update your LinkedIn, get that like going, make sure you know how to like access your QR code or your LinkedIn. Get your like mailing list form. Put everything in QR form. You know, you do not want to make it difficult for somebody to sign up for your mailing list. It's like, here, click on this, go here, try this. Make sure you touch the down menu and then go over here, scroll. Don't do that. Okay? It needs to be super fast. So like for my events, if you were to register, like when I meet people, this is what I've done for like this event, and that is scan this, sign up, you're done. That's good. Exactly. You know, so that's how fast I move with people. They're just like, I love it. You know, now they want to show
What's the number one website you use to do the convert?
There's so many like QR generators now that I'll show you my favorite one.
That's not good.
There it is. So this guy right here, what I like about it, is you can change the color. You can add your logo. You can add like scan me, like you can add like different styles, colors, things like this. And it just makes it more attractive. Where is it? Like color, I can do this, I can make it a different style. And that's what I like. You can add a logo, you can put it in the middle, and you have all kinds of options here. So you can even do a QR code for your phone number, for your LinkedIn, for things like that. You want to move very fast. So when you go to South by, create a little folder on your phone, and just have a QR code for your LinkedIn. You can have one for your Twitter, your social media stuff, like YouTube, and then also have a join mailing list. Yeah, so anything else, or even a phone number. So
you make it now where you have like list of links.
Yes. So if you're talking about that, then you would do something like Linktree, and then you can go in here and then just have one QR code for everything, and then that way they can just basically see all your stuff in one point. You know, but the problem with that is it doesn't get them to your mailing list. Okay? So you're creating friction because they have to do stuff. People are lazy. So yeah, so right here, that's the most important thing, but I did want to go back to this list right here. So this is all the stuff, RSVP, ATX. So if you want to write that down, go to this website, go home, do all your work, homework. This is literally all the other stuff that I was showing you, but this is, part of it.
Stuff you can do without the ticket? Or no? Oh.
So I'm going to show you this one right here. how much does it cost to get in?
$3.99.
Which is the ticket you,
$3.99.
well, which is the ticket you really want?
Yeah.
VIP. Thank you. Okay, but you cannot just click on VIP and think you get it, okay?
No.
Exactly. So, what he does is the guy I was telling you about. This is the guy who, all he does is throw secret tech parties all around the world. And he makes a lot of money.
Wait, I don't get it though, if it's called a secret tech party and it's like advertising online, it seems kind of.
Did you know about it before this?
No, but I don't care, I'm not gonna like, oh, I'm gonna secret tech party, it's like not secretive, it's like right here.
So-
Right?
So what happens there in secret tech party?
So remember, he controls the name list. You know, so he has access to all that stuff, you know?
It's true.
But have you been to any of this?
So, this is the first time he's throwing it in Austin.
I'm just wondering, what can happen?
Drugs.
Just thinking about my own.
Yeah. So,
Or at least models of them.
right, exactly, yeah. So he's somebody that brings in a lot of like tech influencers to his parties. You know, so if they know he's throwing a big party, then they want to be in that room because he's going to control like the big stuff. So that's why I say the VIP room is where you want to be because that's where the people are probably with a lot of deep pockets and influence. But there you go. You know, and in case you haven't figured this out about Austin, a lot of stuff now is on Luma. Eventbrite is trash, and that's reality. You know, so.
I know, okay, so I noticed that for registration here was Luma.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so everything's moving away from
Eventbrite, because they're doing a lot of charging for stuff, they're adding so many tax requirements and friction. They're causing a lot of friction, they're causing a lot of problems. And if you've been on Eventbrite, how many times have you seen all this trash and just like scattered around?
Oh, you gotta, yeah.
You know, and there's just like, oh, look, dating and escape games and all this other stuff, and we're just like, who is signing up for a scavenger hunt at 7 in the morning? You know?
So where was Luma created? Is it local?
No, I think they're from New York. I think this is a New York company. That's why you don't see a lot of stuff listed for Texas yet.
Yeah.
But that's why Austin though is like a first mover for Luma. You know, so if you want the next one for Luma, this is also Posh VIP. Let me see if it'll like.
And so, are you saying we are instructed to click on the VIP?
I'm not, but if you want to give it a shot and see what happens, I would not be surprised if your ticket gets rejected, you know, but yeah. So this is another version of Luma. This is called posh.vip. So if you want to set up your own events, then you can do that kind of stuff. I would say if you want to venture as to be so bold, set up your own Luma event for South by and see how many people show up. You know? Yeah, so why not? And then advertise it on Twitter. Is it still called Twitter, by the way?
Is it better than Eventbrite and all
It is
those-
not because they do not have the same traction that Eventbrite does. But if you post on Eventbrite, you're going to get charged.
Oh,
That's what I mean. Because you're limited to the number of tickets you can have that are free, and then it's just not worth it because they're going to require so much information now.
okay.
And then Luma is what's do they charge you with?
So Luma and Posh are completely free. They are completely
Which is like
free.
Eventbrite, right?
What's that?
It's like Eventbrite.
Right, it's like Eventbrite, but just they don't have the traction yet, but it's getting there. You know, so if you're in LA, Luma is used a lot in LA.
How do they make money?
Question.
Advertising.
A question, so what else can be done I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think
We
this
got
is very
like 5
important.
minutes, by the way. We have 5 minutes left. Yes.
So, what else can be done in South by Southwest?
So at
Because
South,
we're not gonna see you before that event.
right,
Right,
and that's
so
why
what
like
else
I'm
can
trying to
be
push
done?
all this stuff. Yeah. So what I would say probably is if you're gonna park,
Take the train.
take the train in, do something like that, like someplace like north, bring the train in, or park south, and go to every single thing you can possibly go to the convention center. Most people are going to be around the convention center because that's where all the panels are going to be held.
Wear comfortable shoes.
Yeah, wear comfortable shoes, bring a water bottle, make sure you have extra batteries for your phone, bring a charger, bring snacks, things like that. And whenever you see a line in the convention center, just ask them, hey, what is this for? Who's it for? Where are you from? What are you doing? I once shared a cab with somebody, and in the back, in less than 2 minutes, I made a strong connection. And in fact, it was so fast, the driver was just like, damn, that's why South by is amazing. Because this lady was the president of a company that helps doctors do emergency surgeries in the air. Go ahead.
So the person who mentioned about Sicilian recipe,
Uh-huh.
she cooks food
Yeah.
and put it in and then sell it. Is there
Absolutely.
an option to sell there?
Absolutely.
Like stand there?
Yes,
and
you will see a
sell?
lot of people show up and they will put a little stand up and they will sell until they're told, hey, you can't be here, and then they will, guess what they'll do?
They move it
Then we go right here.
They will buy it.
Okay. Okay.
So you'll see a lot of other, will you see a lot of other people doing this, cause I'm getting the impression that like, it's just a week to do the awkward thing that I would do anyway, but I just have so much more volume, so I can just go up to random people.
Yes, absolutely. You know, once you learn how to talk to strangers, like your life changes. Like that's why I've read all the most important books on networking, like Never Eat Alone, The Fine Art of Small Talk, things like that, How to Work a Room, Pop, How to Stand Out in a Room, all these kinds of things, they will change your life, because once you walk into a room and you know how to talk to people, it's not about like, hey, I'm a developer, guess what, I can get into rooms that you cannot, because I know how to talk to people, you know? That's the most important skill I tell people.
So we can, okay.
Absolutely. Once you learn how to do that, like go watch YouTube videos, like how to network, like how to talk to people, how to talk to strangers, how to get into rooms, things like that. But I will tell you, there's one strategy that I saw that was genius. There was a company that makes like custom stencils of their business, and they put a QR code inside that stencil, and they got glass chalk. And what do you think they did with it?
Glass chalk?
Yeah,
What's that?
spray chalk.
No,
Okay.
put it on windows all
No,
over.
no. You're way off. Okay. Where are people going around Austin? What are they doing?
Trees?
No. So when you're in Austin, you're doing this, right? You're doing this, right? And when you stop at a corner, what are you doing? You're doing this, right? You're looking down. What's below you?
That
On the
wall.
sidewalk.
So they're taking the stencils and they're spraying it so you see it right there. And then guess what you do? You have your phone in your hand, you scan the QR code. Done. That's guerrilla marketing. Okay? That's guerrilla marketing. Then the other part is like, hey, you can get a little light, LED light. I'm running out of time. LED light promotions. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, it's not here. So basically, the idea is like, I saw a company do this where they took a light and they would put their image of their company and they would project it on a wall. They can like take a gold mini projector and then they would just like stand by a building and be like, here's the PowerPoint. And guess what? You're not damaging the building, it's just light. And they're just showcasing what they're doing, like their business. And then people showed up. Why? Because it's South by. Like, hey, what are you promoting? What are you doing? And if somebody tells them to move, cool, I can just go to another place, project light on here. But I also say this because there was pedicab drivers who would drive around and they would project the lights on the ground. So all these like company logos were just like all over the streets. And they were paying a lot of money for advertising.
How much money?
$3,000, $4,000, because those pedicab drivers do about 50 miles a night.
I have a projector and a battery if anybody has a pedicab.
So we are done because we have to be out here before 8. But I hope that helps
Thank
a
you.
lot. Yes.
So are you selling the list?
Yeah, I saw the list. Yeah. Why, you want the list?
Yeah, I want the list.
Yeah, just fill out your email, I'll do it.
Here is of your
Oh, here are my cards. Can go my way.
I got a student discount.
How much?
It's 60 bucks.
Yeah, because housing is becoming very expensive. So this is another way instead of buying, renting, and you don't really get the cash. You put it in a cash flow insurance policy, right? You can pull the money out, send it in a bank, you pay no late fee. It's actually your money, right? Yeah, I don't know that. So, yep.
But you know,
It's 65 bucks.
sold it somewhere or you asked?
I got a coupon code for that and I have to apply for
So you
I have to
did-
apply
oh, yeah,
for it. I didn't know that.
I will share that downstairs in the lobby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that
Oh,
is
actually, UP students have some discount, discount.
really,
Yeah.
that could be it.
Yeah.
Do you have that sign up sheet back
Yes.
there?
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay, awesome. Oh, absolutely.
How could you reach?
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna be down in the lobby and I'll share my LinkedIn.